I wasn't expecting to film tonight, but when I told the kids what I was making for dinner, they insisted that I go ahead and share this recipe. This is one of their absolute favorites, and what we're making tonight is baked goldfish chicken. And I'm also trying a little bit different camera angle and a different lens today, so leave me a comment either on YouTube or the blog or Facebook and let me know what you think, if this works better or you like it the other way. I figured this way it's a little easier maybe to see what I'm doing. So jumping right in, our ingredients list, we have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts in a bag. And actually this is great, I do it in the bag because this is great to make ahead and you can throw it in the freezer. You could do the marinade the night before or even do it as a freezer meal. You can go ahead and mix up the chicken and the wet ingredients and throw it in the freezer, and then when you're ready just pull it out and thaw it and do your crunchies. One thing I'm not going to do tonight, but you could do if you wanted to, is add a 1/4 cup of mustard. I went to go get the mustard and realized we were out, so we're not going to add that. It tastes just as good without, but if you like that little extra tang in there, it's good to add in. On top of that, we have 1/4 to 1/3 of buttermilk, a touch of honey, a little bit of salt. I'm not going to use the salt. We're probably going to use about a 1/4 teaspoon in the marinade, and then another 1/4 teaspoon in the topping. And then I'm using white pepper for this. It's probably 1/8 of a teaspoon in there. And then you're going to need an 8x8 or 9x9 square baking dish and some cooking spray, some nonstick spray for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead with our buttermilk and we're going to add the honey in, just a touch. And you want to go ahead and, of course I got it all over my beater here. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. I'm going to put my salt, and I'm going to go ahead and dump all that pepper in there. I'm going to mix this really well. So if you were putting mustard in here, you would put it in at this point as well. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and pour this right. Here's a hint: if you roll the top of the bag over, it stands up a little better. It makes it easier to pour. So we're going to go ahead and pour that in there. And like I said, if at this point, if you were doing freezer meals, you could go ahead and seal this up and put it in the freezer. But I'm just going to squish it all up here, make sure that marinade gets all around. And tonight we're just gonna leave it for about 20 minutes. So you could start this, you know, when you first get home from work, you go ahead and you want to start this right away so it soaks and gets those flavors into the chicken. And then in the meantime, we are going to just, it's good for getting out your aggression. Had a bad day or something, come home and smash the goldfish. Also do the kids love to do this step, but they make too much noise, so I send them downstairs. So we're gonna crunch those all up as much as we can. All right, and we're just gonna add those in here into our bowl. Add a little bit of salt to that as well, because we're not going to have all the salt from the marinade in here, so we're going to add a little extra salt for a little extra flavor. And so I'm going to let this chicken sit for about 20 minutes, and I'll be back and show you the next step. Okay, we've been marinating now for about 20 minutes, give or take, and I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I would have preheated my oven already, convection at 325 or regular at 350, but it's a really loud fan and I'm trying to reduce that background noise, so I don't have to do as much on the other side, just as far as editing goes. But yes, go ahead and preheat your oven. Like I said, 325 for convection, 350 for regular. And we're just gonna go ahead and get these in the pan, and then I'll heat them up and bake them. So you just wanna pull them out. And you could do this with your fingers. I'm just using a fork for keep my hands a little cleaner. I've already washed them about 4 or 5 times today, and it's really dry. So, oh, almost forgot a step. You want to go ahead and spray the bottom of this pan with a non-stick spray. And while I'm doing this, I wanted to note that if you don't have buttermilk, you could do this with a regular milk, but just make sure if you do that, you really want to have that mustard in here, because you will be missing the tang of the buttermilk, and the mustard will make up for it. It really complements the cheddar that's in the Goldfish. So we're just going to get these coated as best we can here without getting too messy, and put those in here. So I'm going to get my oven heated up and pop these in there for 35 to 45 minutes. In the meantime, our sides tonight we're going to make is a sauteed green bean and some fresh whole strawberries. So those will be great. So we have about 5 minutes left on our chicken, and I'm getting ready to go start our green beans sauteing. And I just wanted to share with you tonight's wine pairing. It's a Foodie Chardonnay, and it's really inexpensive. I picked it up at World Market. I think it was like $8 or $9. But it's really good. It doesn't say it, but it tastes like a stainless steel fermented Chardonnay, and I'm kind of excited because I get to test out my chilling pour spout that I got for Christmas. And I'm gonna go ahead. It says to pour out 1 glass, which I've done for myself, and I'm gonna pour another one for hubby. He's about to walk in the door. I can't do this too often for him lest it go to his head, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I've got a little bit of ice in here because I just washed this, and I usually wash the glasses in hot water, so I didn't want the hot glass to mess with the chill of the wine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then this is supposed to pop out. There. Hold on. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. And then we push that back down in there, and it's just supposed to pour right out. Awesome. Look at that. And there you go. That's pretty neat. So I put it back in the box to freeze it because I didn't want it in the freezer by itself, but that's pretty neat. So these actually cooked right at 35 minutes, and they look pretty done, but I hadn't finished cooking the green beans, so I just shut the oven off and let them sit in there, and that actually just lets them reabsorb some of the juices as well. So I'm gonna, I got my green beans on here. I'm gonna add a piece of chicken and some of these strawberries. Oops. And that's dinner tonight.